eventually. Well, it's not about subscribers, it's about usage. They changed it. All right. So again, let's talk about now what we're gonna try to estimate now. All right. So listen to me, guys. If I say 50% of something, that just means what? Half. Right? If I say 25%, what does that mean? A quarter. Right? We talked about yesterday. What does 1/2 mean?
Divide by 2.
Divide by 2. 1/4 means what? No.
Divide by.
What's 1/4 mean?
Oh, 1/4.
Divide by 4. 1/5 of something would be
5.
divide by 5. All right, so look up, please. I'm going to show you something. All right, and actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here, and you can just pay attention for a second. All right, look up, look up, look up, look up. Bless you. All right, so I want everybody to make sure you can tell me this. What does 10% mean? 10 out of 100. Which then reduces to what? Come on, Leighton. 1/10. So 10% means to do what? Divide by 10. No, you're right. 10% means to divide by 10. And who remembers what to do when you divide by 10?
Just move the decimal.
Move the decimal which way?
To the right. To the left.
To the left. Right, now the reason why I tell kids you go to the left is because if you move a decimal to the left, for example, look right here, guys. The decimal is here, right? So if I move it one place to the left, it's getting smaller, do you agree? Which means dividing. If you divide, the number is getting what? Smaller most of the time. Not always, but most of the time. You hear me? Right? Is everybody okay with that? So if I take 10% of something, that just means I move the decimal to the left once. Right? So if I said to you, you had $500, and I say, what's 10% of 500? You should be able to say what? 50. Carly, are you with me? 50. Jack, are you with me? All right, so what if I make it hard? What if I said 45.3? What's 10% of 45.3, Gavin? 4.53. Everybody with me on this? All right, if I said the number 1.8, what's 10% of 1.8? I'm asking you a question. What's 10%?
10% of 1.8 is, you have to do, 1.8 divided by,
What's the rule for 10%? How many? How many? Once. Once. So you would move it over here. Just once. So it'd be 0.18. That's all. All right? Now listen to me on this now, guys. What if I said 1%? If I wanted 1% of something? 1 out of 100. So think about the logic now. 1 out of 100. So how many places do I move the decimal this time? How many places do I move the decimal? If I'm dividing by 100? Twice. Dividing by 10 is moving the decimal what? Once. Dividing by 100 is moving the decimal twice. So, yes, if I said divide by 1,000, I'd move the decimal to the left 3 times. That's really, really important to be able to understand how to estimate effectively. Everybody's got to hear me on that, right? We can't do this problem if you can't tell me about 10%. I want everybody to go home and tell their parents 10% means divide by 10. 1% means divide by 100. Now the shortcut is just say move the decimal 1 place to the left. All right? 1% means move the decimal 2 places to the left. That's always true. Does everybody hear me? All right, now watch. So I'm going to put a number up on the board. 200. I want someone to tell me what 10% of 200 is. What? 20. Beautiful. Now, not done, but everybody needs to agree. Do you agree with me? 10% of 200 is 20. Do you agree or not? You can say no. So look, the decimal is here. So 10%, we always just move it one place to the left. You hear me now, right? All right? Just put your hand down. You're fine. Pay attention. We're going to get to it. Yes. If you don't see a decimal, it's always at the end. All right? But does everybody understand now that 10% is equal to 20? Anybody have an issue? All right, so I'm going to ask you a tough question. Look up, look up, look up. Come on, concentrate on what I'm saying. This is important. Layton, come on now, concentrate with me. Somebody tell me what 20% is. What would 20% be? No. What would 20% be? Too slow. What would 20% be? No. What would 20% be? Yes. Come on. What is it? No. 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 I feel you're right. Very, very, very smart. 40. 40. How do I know that? Because 10% is what? 20. So 20% would just be times 2. Is everybody with me on this? So now, let's try this. 30% would be what now? Think for yourself. 60. Brilliant. And it's okay to make a mistake. Don't worry about it. I want you to make a mistake. All right? I'm trying to teach you how to be really good with numbers. All right? That's the biggest problem with kids, is they don't understand numbers. So then when we get to word problems, you don't understand numbers, so you can't apply them to the word problems. So if you're not understanding what I'm saying about estimation, you don't understand numbers very well, so you got to let me help you. So again, 10% was what? 20, agreed? So I multiply that by 3 to get what? 30%. So I multiply that by 3, and that tells me what? 60. Everybody with me? All right? So now, let me see if I'm helping you. Let's say I had the number 63.80. Let's say you go to the restaurant, and you have, put your hand down, and you have $63.80 bill, and you have to tip your waitress, and she's not very good. So you don't want to give her 15%. You only want to give her what? 10%, because she did a horrible job. She spilled Coke on you or something. All right? So, 63.80. Somebody tell me what 10% of 63.80 is. Well, we would just say $6.38. You with me? So 10% is equal to $6.38. Do you agree with that? But if we're estimating, you're not going to give somebody $6.38. You might as well round it to what? $7 or what? $6. Everybody good with that? Good for you. What? I did move it over once, so watch. Very good. Very, very good, Carly. You hear me? You always ask. Always. You have to ask. I can't help if you're not asking. That goes for everybody. Speak up. I know I'm loud and I yell and fuss and all that. All right? Trying to make you strong. All right? So if you don't understand, speak up. Is everybody okay with 10%? What? I don't want another problem right now. I'm not done with this one. So 10% is $6.38, right? So now sit down and listen to me, Thomas. So let's say I wanted to estimate. I don't like doing the 638. So I could round 63.80 to what? $60, right? Is everybody with me? And then 10% would just be what? $6. Now, what is 15%? What is 15%? Of 60? Very good. How did you do that?
I just so I basically 30 times 2 is 6.
There's a better way. How?
I have a question.
Go, quick.
I
Oh, come on, Thomas. Ask me your question.
thought you had to, when it's 10%, you have to move it twice.
No, 10% is once. 1% is twice.
Okay.
So now look up. Put your hand down. Put your hand down. 5%. If 10% is 6, what's 5%? 3. So 15% would have to be what? Would be $9. Yeah, look how easy that is. So when you're going to the restaurant and you got to tip somebody 15%, you just take 10%, cut it in half.
20% would be 12.
20% would be 12. It's very easy. Very easy. All right, is everybody with me? So now you can leave the tip. All right? If you want to leave somebody a 15% tip, you take 10%, then cut it in half and add it. Let me see if you can do the mental math. All right, let's say you went out to a fancy restaurant and the bill came out to be $127.63. All right, and you got to quickly figure out what 15% tip would be. Put your hands down. So first of all, would I want to do 15% of $127.63? No, we have to get it to a number that's helpful.
1/3.
So I want you to stop saying things now. So we'd round 127.63 to a number that I can quickly take 10% of, which would be, you would want to round this to $130. Come on now, everybody, with me. So Carly, what is 10% of $130? Very nice. So 10% is $13, right? I want to leave a 15% tip. So I need to now know what is 5% of 13. Now listen to me, put your hand down. 5% would just be half, do you agree? But I don't even feel like doing half of 13. I could change 13 to what? Or 14 if you were feeling generous. You agree? Right? So if you change 13 to 14 and take half, that'd be what? $7. What? So 15% would be roughly what? How did you get that? I thought it was 13. $20. Is everybody happy with that? Put your hand down. Stop. No. No. So approximately a 15% tip would be about what? $20. Does everybody see what I'm saying? Right? Now let's say your waitress is really nice and you want to leave her a 20% tip. How much would I leave her? How much would I leave her? $26. And let's just say you're just like super nice because she did something really nice for you. Multiply 13 times 2. 10% is 13 times 2, right? Now let's just say she's amazing, right? And she did a fantastic job, and you're just feeling real good, and you're going to leave her a 30% tip because she was so nice. 30% tip would be about how much money? How much?
39.
$39. How did he get that? He took 10% and multiplied it by what? Multiplied it by 3. Everybody hearing me? All right. So that's how simple it is to estimate. All right, that's how simple it is to estimate. Generally, you break things down into 10%. All right. However, if you get in this situation, if I say I want to estimate what 24% is, well, 24% is close to what number? 25%, and 25% is the same as 1/4. So you could just do what? Divide by 4. Is everybody with me on that? If I said 19%, I would round 19% to what? 20%. And then I know 20% means divide by 5. If somebody says 50%, that just means to do what? Divide by 2. All right, it's very simple. But listen, I have to know that you understand what I mean when I say percent. Right? Now, why is, somebody tell me now who's thinking, why is 10% 13? Why is 10% 13? I don't want you to say it because I moved the decimal. Why?
Divided by 10.
Now, that's exactly right. I divided by 10. But more importantly, 10%, listen to me. If I were to take $130, please watch, and I'm just going to kind of be obnoxious here, so look up. 130, uh-oh, not 130. 10% was 13, right? So if I did 13, 13, 13, 13, what did I put up there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I put 10 13s up there. Does everybody agree? That's 130. Listen, please. Now look, this is the important. Put your hands down. Please pay attention. Now, what did I do to $130? I split it up into what? 10 equal parts. Does everybody agree? That's why this represents what? 10%. Because that's 1 out of how many? 10. This represents how many? 20%, because that's 2 out of 10. Is everybody with me on that? All right, that's what a percent is. So 10% just means you're dividing it by what? 10. All right? What?
It was a lot easier or when you just did than the first because you could just keep going along with 13, 26,
100% correct. All right? Now listen to me. Now, if I've done a good job, now the assignment will be pretty easy. All right? We're estimating, so we don't really need a calculator. All right? We're estimating, so we don't need a calculator, and I want you to be good at numbers. So again, I'm coming back here. What?
But what if something was like $1,000 and you had to have like a 10% tip, but you can't when you move the decimal around?
So let's look at your scenario. If you have $1,000, and someone asked me this earlier, which was a good point. Where's the decimal? At the end. So 10%, move it one place. No, 100.
Oh.
Right? That's all. All right, here we go. Take a look. Now, we're estimating. All right? So, would I want you to estimate using 86? No, we would round that to what? 90. So here's what I want on your paper. I would like for you to write 30. I would like for you to write 30% of 90. All right, 30% of 90. Then underneath that, I would like for you to write 10% is equal to how much?
9.
9. 10% is 9.
But wouldn't you do like 30 divided by 9?
Come on now. And if you, listen, if you make a mistake, just look up and try to correct your mistake. All right? Just let me explain. I'm not interested in 10%. I need what? 30%. So I have to multiply by what?
3.
Multiply by 3, which is what?
27.
So it's approximately 27. All right, it's approximately 27. Go ahead. Yeah.
So, my
Because if I want to estimate, the easiest way to estimate 30% is to find 10% first. You hear me? So now listen, sometimes you ask me questions. I don't want you mad at me. But then if I tell you something, sometimes you just want to just go on. I have to know that you understand what I said. Right? So don't be, if I'm not clear, you just got to keep telling me. Or I'm trying to get better like you are. I want to explain it the best I can. So if that's not good enough, you got to just tell me. Do you understand that? Right? 10% is 9, but I'm interested in what? 30%, so I have to multiply by 3. Do you agree with that? I can write it out more if you want me to. Do you want me to write it out more? Okay. So let's look at number 2 now. 52% is pretty close to what? 50%. So I want everybody to know 50% is about what? 50% is the same as what? Half. It's the same as half. Now, I don't want to take half of 83. I'd rather take half of 84. Or half of 80 even. I don't care how you estimate. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? He wanted 80. I can do half of 84 real quick. Is everybody with me? But he says half of 80. So we'll go with his half of 80, which is what? Half of 80. Come on, guy. You should be able to tell me half of 80. 40, quickly, right? Just 80 divided by 2. 40. Good, girls? No, it's 40, right? We're finding a number, not a percent, which is a good problem. You understand me? Right? I would prefer you say 40. 41.5 is not an estimate, but I would accept it because it's close. But here's what's important. What's important in this lesson is you being able to understand what I did here and here. You understand me? Tell me. Okay, here we go. Number 3. That everybody now everybody can do 10% right now. 10% is just what? Right. So it's just 4.8. We don't need to estimate on that because 10% just means boom. Move to the left once. Is everybody happy with that? All right. 27%. We could change that to either 30 or 25 because I know 25 means divide by 4. Is everybody good? All right. What do you want to do, 30 or 25? 30. I think 30% is generally easy. 30%. Now, I'm going to change 63 to what? 60. Good. So I'm asking you, what is 10% of 60? 6, right? 6. Is 10% 6? 6. So 30% would equal?
24 or 18. 24.
What is it?
Oh, 18.
Don't listen to the boys. Think for yourself. 18. Thomas, are you with me? You get it? What? I want 30%. So I take 10% and multiply by 3. That's what I've been doing the whole class period. So 20%, I would take 10% and multiply by 2. You hear me? All right, come on, man. You got this. All right, here we go. So this person has $35 to spend on a backpack. He finds one on sale for 35% off the regular price of $43.99. Does he have enough money to buy the backpack? All right. So what we're going to do is we're just strictly going to estimate. So the backpack costs what? $43.99, but I'm not doing that, right? So I want to be conservative, so I'd want to make the price a little higher. Do you agree? So $45. Do you agree? So $45. All right, this guys, listen, what I want to do on this one is just put a cross number 5 out. Because again, it's mostly a calculator question, and estimating when you have to be that close is kind of hard. Does everybody understand what I'm saying, right? Like I wouldn't estimate this because I'm not going in with the $35 and see something on sale and take it to the register and be off by 10 cents and then I can't buy it. Does everybody see what I'm saying, right? So that's not a very good estimation problem. What?
Couldn't you just make 75
No, I would have done that. No, we're not doing that. All right? So here we go. Now, what do you think is a good way to figure out what 5% would be?
No,
Half of 10. So we're going to take 10%
Oh, yeah.
and then divide it by 2, right? So if we want 5% of something, take 10% and divide it by 2. Is everybody with me? Now, because we're estimating, I'm going to change 82 to a what? 80. So 10% of 80 is what? 8. So 5% would equal, how's that? You guys feeling better? Right, understanding numbers like this is super important. So it's going to require some practice. You good with that? All right. 39% is closer to what?
40.
So change that to 40%, and 19 is what? 20. So 10% would equal what? 2. So 40% would equal, does that make sense? Does that make sense? 10% is how much?
Oh yeah.
You see it now, right? Times by 4. Carly, you still with me? Or do you want me to say something? Come on, girl.
How'd you get the 2?
10%. So remember, well, I'm gonna come right here. So if I said 10% of 20, what would that be? The decimal is here. So you move it one place to the left. Yes, that's right. Now you with me? So 10% is 2. That's how I got that. Now do you know how I got 8? All right. Importance. Keep working. All right, so now number 8, 21% is the same as what? 20% of 60. I just round that to what? 70. All right, so Carly, here we go. I'm going to let you help me. So what's 10%, Carly? Good job, girl. And now I need 20%. So what would that be? Now, think about it. 10% is 7. You said that perfectly. I don't want 10. I want what? So what do I have to do to 10 to make it 20? Multiply it by what? Yes, that's right. So I did times 2. So if I do that times 2, I have to multiply the 7 by 2. So that's, yes. All right, so what you're always doing, Carly, is you're breaking down to 10%. All right, let's look at it again. So I'm definitely not doing 7%, so I'm going to change 7% to what? 10%. All right, and I'm going to round 109 to what? To 110. You can do 100, I'm not arguing with you, but 110 is closer to 109. Right? So 10% would be what? 11. All right, so 10% of 110 is equal to 11. All right. All right, so now here we go on this one. This is our 15% tip. So you went to the store and you spent $23 on a manicure. And you want to do 15%. So tell me what you would do. Which is what? $2.30. Perfect. No, just look up. Practice good mental math here. So 10% is that. I need 5% now, right? So
Oh yeah, I forgot you divided. So it's
$1.15.
So it's
$3.45 is 15%.
So for the money ones,
Now, for me personally, I wouldn't have done exactly, right? If I'm going to leave somebody a 15% tip and the bill is $23, I'm just going to round it to 25. Does that make sense? I don't care what you do. You know what I'm saying? I would have just made that $25. Then 10% would be 250. Then I always pay 20%.
Yeah, I was trying to do that.
No, that's exactly what I want you to do. That's what you're practicing. Mental math. That's what we're practicing. And we're trying to make sure the numbers make sense. All right? So that was excellent. All right? So now 8% is close to what?
10%.
So 10% would be about what? 26. Is the bell about to ring?
We still have like 7.
Okay. Here we go. Now, hold on. What? No, here we go. Listen to me now on number 12. All right? 34% is kind of in the middle. Do you agree? Do you agree this is pretty close to what?
25.
What would be a better number since I'm dealing with percentages? Does everybody see what he's saying? So if this is close to 100 and I make it 100, what would 34% of 100 be?
30.
Say it. 34. I don't know what you're saying. I said what's 34% of 100? Everybody should tell me automatically what? 34. No, stop. Doesn't matter if you make a mistake. It's okay. Just listen to what I'm saying. I'm doing 34% of a number close to 100. So the answer has to be pretty close to what? 34. Now, do you think it's going to be more than 34 or less than 34? All right. Well, because this number is less than 100, it's going to be a little less. All right. But still, I don't care. I would prefer that you just say, I think it's somewhere close to what? 34. Is everybody with me on this? Good? 34 would be a good answer. All right, because this number is close to 100. All right, let's look at 53. 53% is close to what?
50.
Which is the same as 1/2. I need everybody to know that. 50% is half. Now, why do I say that? Because I can just take half of 142. What's half of 142? 71. Right? Is everybody okay?
Mr. Stroud, should we keep reading that?
Yeah, keep writing them down. That's our homework. All right, 14. 23%.
5.
Well, wait a minute. What's
oh,
my...
wait, yeah, you can round up to 100, so it's 23.
So it's about 23.
Wait, no, that's the same. Do you want us to keep writing down?
I just want you to keep writing down. Yeah, what you're doing is fine. All right, let's try 15. Right. Now, if you don't want to do half of 432, you could just change it to what?
430.
I would change it to 440.
Which is 220.
Yeah, because it's easier to divide. Do you agree? Not that 30 is that hard to divide, right? But 40 is really easy, right? So you can say 220. Everybody hear me? How did I get what? 50% means what? What? No, 50%. Somebody tell them what 50% means. Half. Is everybody with me? 50% means half. Do you agree with me now? Thomas? All right, let's take a look at 16. 18% is close to what?
20.
Right. So 10% would be what? Everybody okay with that? 4? Gavin, this is what I'm saying. I got it, bud. I got it. I'm helping some people who have questions. Just keep going. I'm ignoring you for a reason. All right. So 10% is 4. I don't know who was asking me a question. You with me? Do you understand 10% is 4? And we're trying to do what? 20%. So 20% would be 8. not a percentage, would be 8.
But could you round it up? Could you round 42 to 50?
I don't. The reason I wouldn't do that is because taking 10% of 40 and 10% of 50 is kind of the same. It's not that much different. All right, let's look at 17. All right, now this one should be pretty easy. 10% of 132, and again, 13. If you said 13.2, I would be happy. It doesn't matter. Usually when you're rounding, you're not putting decimals in, right? But again, so you're not wrong. All right, it's not going to be wrong. All right, 18. I would just say 54% is close enough to what? 50, and 39 would be 50% of 40, 20.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. Let's go down to 20 through 27 now. All right. So that would be, right, 40% of, I'm okay with that, of 20. Right? So 10% would be, 10% would be 2, right?
Oh, yes. I'm looking. Yeah, I was looking.
So 40% would be 8. 8% is close to what?
10%.
So we're doing 10% of
31.
310. 31. We're happy with that?
Yep.
Okay. So let's try 83%. It's kind of a lot. So that would be what? 80% of 70, right? So 10%. Now, come on, guys. 10% would be 7. I need 80%. 56. 56. Still with me? Hey, are you with me? Good for you.
So after you do the 10% and then you get the answer, how do you get the last bit?
Okay, so you ready? Look right here. So the key is looking at this and saying 10%, I want to make it what? So I have to multiply 10 by 8. You with me? And that's how I get this, times 8. All right, so I'm going to let you do one now. All right, hold on. I want to do 24. All right, I want you to do 24 for me. So 58% is close to what, Carly? Shh. 24 right now. I'm on 24. Just look at 24, okay? That's right. So you're doing 60%. We're just going to round 81 to what? Yep, stop and listen for a second because I got to tell you your homework. So now what's 10%? Shh. Of 80 is what? Yep. And yes. Yes. So 60% is equal to what? There you go, girl. All right, so listen, guys. Just practice these for me. I'm asking you to do 8 problems for homework. 29 through 36. That's all you have to do. 29 through 36. Homework, 29 through 36. All right, good job, guys. Good job. Good.